Hello and welcome to another Heroes of the Storm quick tip. Today I wanted to talk about a blow-up comp. So, for those that don't know, a blow-up comp typically is in reference to a stun tank, an engaged tank of some sort, so ETC, Diablo, Muradin, and so on. Imperius, actually, also a good one. The point is they can go in, isolate a target, usually stun them in some sort of crowd control, and set it up for an easy follow up. And then you have burst damage, and you just delete any squishy, and later in the game, usually bruisers or tanks as well, depending. In this case, we have Cursed Bullet on Greymane, so deleting tanks is not off the menu. This is actually a very traditional kind of blow up comp. Diablo Tyrande is just you charge in, you flip, you follow up with Lunar Flare, and then that's almost 2 seconds of stun time. And so if you have competent DPS players on burst damage and the opponents don't react immediately to save their comrade, they're going to die, period. Here's an example of that. So watch the Lunara. And goodbye. And so, from what you can see there, she had no chance to do anything once she got caught. She had a chance to react to the charge, but once she gets charged, she gets immediately flipped into APOC, and then the Lunar Flare, and at no point, except maybe at the very end, did she have frames to even press a button and get something to happen. And that was it, and she died. And that is a blow-up comp when executed properly. You can see 2 seconds, basically 3, and that's it. And your squishy is gone. You have to really respect the engaged tanks and your distancing, especially Diablo at 10, if you play against this kind of comp. If you want to play this comp, then you got to make sure you're taking burst damage. I see people take Diablo with stuff like Raynor or Chromie or Cassia, and Chromie actually can work if you have really good aim and you always target where the flip's going to happen. But because of how our cooldowns work and because people can block the Qs, it's a little harder to make work. Li Ming's usually the go-to if you're going to pick a mage. Jaina's another good one, although again, you have to kind of shotgun be close. KT is actually good specifically with Diablo because you can throw Empowered E directly onto the flip target and you can press all your other buttons. And if you have Pyroblast, that's actually a huge chunk of damage. You can delete most of the heroes in the game late game if you hit all your buttons off cooldown as a KT. So that's the whole idea here, is that if you pick this comp, you want to look for these isolated picks. You'll notice I did take a fair amount of damage in there. And then I walked out. But that's because at that point, we outnumber them, and they just didn't have a follow-up burst. If I had gotten speared, for example, look at the man here. If I had gotten speared out of that, I probably would have died. The other thing to keep in mind about blow-up comps is they only work if you get the kill or chunk someone so badly they have to leave the fight or they'll die. Because otherwise what happens is, if you're just trading, usually you're losing your tank in the process and they lose a squishy. And so, assuming tank player skills are equivalent, usually the team with a tank is going to come out ahead. Although, again, that's hero dependent. But just in general, something to consider. Your best move if you're playing against this comp, other than checking your ranges, decide if you want to counter engage or how best to isolate the diver. In this case, Diablo, if you're a KT, hold up E. You're Ana, hold up E. If I get slept or stunned off the charge, then I can't continue and I'm left out in no man's land, and then I'm isolated and can die. So that's just one example of counterplay you have. I hope that helped. Have a great day.